it's Gray. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel where you will find a variety of reviews from recipes to subscriptions and everything in between. Today we are doing a March reading recap where we'll talk about the books that I've read, what I thought about them, and what we will be reading next. Before we get started, if you enjoy these types of reviews, don't forget to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon to be notified when the next video will be up. We're working our way to 500 subscribers and trying to get those watch hours up, so every single second that you give to my channel is so incredibly appreciated. And if you would like to continue supporting the subscription series, consider donating on my Ko-fi page. We'll have all the links below. All the donations go directly into the channel so I can keep making these videos regularly for you all. So let's talk about the books that we read. We read a total of 8 books this month, physical and 1 on Kindle Unlimited. I would like to preface that if you would like to follow along, I actually do have a Goodreads profile. I just made it this year to help track my reading goal and just to keep my TBR organized, because there's just so many fantastic recommendations that I needed to organize. So I'll have that link below. Feel free to send me a friend request. I am not going into this with a super strong critique of we're gonna judge the dialogue and the characters. I read for fun. I read because it's therapeutic, and my brain needs a break constantly from reality. As far removed as I can be is what I prefer. So that's why I read a lot of contemporary romance and romantasy. And yeah. So basically I go off of vibes. Do I like the book? Did it make me happy? Were the vibes there? Then you're gonna get a 5 out of 5. I think critiquing books and giving them, lower, especially for indie authors, I just prefer not to. That's not my vibe. So if you don't like these books, okay. I really like them, so spoiler. But let's talk about the books that we read. So last year I started getting back into reading heavily, and I have my really good friend Katrina to thank for that. Contemporary romance. And just seeing the types of tropes that are out there that I really vibe with. So I ended up asking for A Court of Thorns and Roses for the holidays, and I got A Court of Thorns and Roses. I got through that series very quickly, and then in February I moved on to Throne of Glass, which is incredible. So that kind of leads us to where we are now. End of February into March, I picked up Empire Storms. 5 out of 5, honestly. I love the Throne of Glass series, the characters, and by this time in the story we're seeing things clicking, and there's twists, and there's magic, and the romance kind of picks up in this one. So this is definitely a series that I'm going to treasure, and every time I finished one of these books I just thought, oh, what I wouldn't give to just read this for the first time again and experience it, despite it being like a couple weeks since I started the entire series. So 5 out of 5. If you are on the fence about starting Throne of Glass, do it. Just hop over. It's incredible. Really, really incredible, and really cool to see that Sarah J. Maas wrote this when she was younger, so you get to see the writing and her characters grow with each and every one of these books, and I like to imagine that she grew with us as she wrote these. So after that came Tower of Dawn. I think this is did I actually give this a lower score? No, I don't think I did on Goodreads. I'm pretty sure I also gave this a 5 out of 5. People are doing a tandem read of this. I read things as they were published, with the exception of Assassin's Blade. I actually read that first instead of third, so let me know in the comments. Did you read Assassin's Blade as it was published, or did you do a reread or start reading it now and started with that one? I personally think reading Assassin's Blade first is the way to go. I felt a deeper connection with Selena when we started, so definitely good. A lot of people, what I've seen, did not enjoy it because of the point of view it was told, and our fantastical characters were doing their own thing. This was a beautiful story. I loved it. I really, really did. 5 out of 5 for Empire Storms, The Tower of Dawn. I think it was a really nice mix of just storytelling and dialogue, and it made me happy. I really enjoyed them. And of course, the finisher, Kingdom of Ash. I spent a good portion of this book just crying. Out of, I think, all the other books, this one took me a little bit longer to read just because of the emotional turmoil I was going through. This was such a great conclusion to such a great story, to such great characters. And when I finished this book, I just sat and cried, honestly. Phenomenal. I loved it. I mean, it's a 5 out of 5. This was such an enjoyable read. Very action-packed, very suspenseful. Just beautiful, really. I loved it. Once I finished Throne of Glass, I needed a palate cleanser. I needed to take a break because I was going to be moving on to the Crescent City series, so House of Earth and Blood, which we'll get to in just a second. So I needed a palate cleanser, and what I mean by palate cleanser is shorter books that I can read rather quickly and just de-stress. I mean, Throne of Glass series is great, but it was so intense, especially at the end. So Kindle Unlimited had a book called Sugar and Spite, and it was under 200 pages. Very, very quick read. I think I finished it in a day. It's, I mean, it's just smut. Let's be serious here. You're not going to find the next great American novel in this, but I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 out of 5, and I think that's as low as I've ever gone for a book. But it was a fun, quick read, and it was on Kindle Unlimited, so if you're looking for something like that, Sugar and Spite. I will have everything listed down below in case you need links or any of that, but that's what we did. I've also read The Kiss Quotient. I think it's downstairs. My husband's actually reading it. I loved it. 14 stars out of 5. I mean, a girl on the spectrum wanting to learn what it's like to be in a relationship. It was just very relatable, and I really, really liked that. I mean, the spice was spicin'. I really, really liked that. So, I'm really looking forward to reading the other books in that series. I do believe there are 3, so can't wait for them to find their way to my bookshelf. After that, I did a blind date with a book off of the TikTok shop, and I chose the LGBTQIA genre with a enemies to lovers trope, so I got Must Love Silence. This was the author's, Lucy Bexley's, first full-length novel that was published, and I thought it was just such a great book. I actually do have some shorts posted about it. I really enjoyed it. It was a quick read, but the characters were likable, the story moved along quite well, and I was happy with the conclusion. So a happy ending. We need more of these, so really, really enjoyed it. 5 out of 5. Butcher and Blackbird. Butcher and Blackbird. Holy moly, the trigger warnings. You know, sometimes when you see something, it's just like, beware, there's adult content, and it's like someone saying fuck or whatever, you know, the one time. It's not one time in this book. If we're talking about trigger warnings, and let me just preface some if you haven't seen this. Eyeballs and eye sockets, amateur surgery, skin ornaments, chainsaws, axes, accidental cannibalism, not so accidental cannibalism, lobotomized manservant, it goes on. If you're easily triggered, maybe don't read this. I loved it. It's a 5 out of 5 for me. It was a wild ride from start to finish, but I sincerely enjoyed this book. I like shows like Hannibal and Dexter, so the characters didn't trigger me quite as much as maybe someone else would be triggered by it. This one came very highly recommended off of Book Talk, and honestly, I get the vibe. But I feel like the side of Book Talk I'm on is just all like dark romance and people in masks and... Anywho, 5 out of 5 for Butcher and Blackbird. Definitely a great read. Which brings me to the book that I finished yesterday. And I'm really glad, because I was thinking of recording this video and I was going to add the I'll be finished with it today. I finished this yesterday. This book. Sarah, the Magnificent Wizard. The first book of the Crescent City series, House of Earth and Blood. I admit this one took me about 5 days to finish, give or take. The world building is serious business. If you have not read any fantasy books, then just know you need to give it some time. I gave it some time. The first 200 pages or so are definitely a lot of world building, meeting characters, understanding the hierarchy of everything here, and then shit hits the fan. In like the best way. Holy crap, this is like a murder mystery with romance and magic and angels and demons and fae. Oh my goodness. Cried a lot. Man, why do I pick books that just make me feel so much? It's cheaper than therapy, I'll tell you. All the books, with the exception of that Sugar and Spike book, got a 5 out of 5. Sugar and Spike got a 3 out of 5. But overall, it was a very enjoyable reading month. So what's coming up in April? Well, I started the second book in the series, which is The House of Sky and Breath in the Crescent City series. Very excited. Just got past the prologue this morning and about halfway through chapter 1. So very excited. We're going to be picking up the third one that came out in January, and my goodness, I will finally be caught up with the Sarah J. Maas universe, the Maasiverse as Book Talk is calling it. After that, we're going to be moving on to Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. But in between that, I'll do my palette cleansers. I have a couple of dark romances to read. So if you want to see what I'm reading, what's on my TBR, what I'm currently reading, where I'm at, and my ratings, my Goodreads profile will be down there. Again, I don't leave super lengthy reviews. I go based off of vibe. Did it make me happy? Did I enjoy it? Cool. Do you not like these types of books? That's okay. There's so many genres out there, and that's the beauty of writing and reading, is there will be something for you. And if there isn't, write it. So that's where we're at for today. I hope you enjoyed this March reading recap. I hope you join me next month as we recap the books we'll be finishing up in April and so on throughout the year. What books have you read this month? Let me know in the comments below. I'm always looking for recommendations, and that TBR is gonna keep growing and growing. Again, if you enjoyed this video, I hope you give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I sincerely hope to see you in the next one. Take care and stay great amazing. Bye!